America has always been about creating and doing. You're sitting here at home watching me in Dallas, Texas in real time, maybe on your big screen TV through a device called Roku, or an iPad or your computer or your telephone. You might be sitting in an airport watching me right now. We have people who are watching us on airplanes. Think about that. That's incredible. Think how far we have come technologically as mankind. It wasn't so long ago that we didn't have high definition. I have to tell you something. This studio, this is a movie studio. We had to put all the high definition infrastructure into it. This building, which has made major motion pictures, wasn't even high def. That's how fast it's going. And certainly you wouldn't put high def in for the internet. One decade ago, you couldn't even, remember watching a picture come down online? Now it's high definition. A few decades ago, when I was a kid, we didn't have color TV. And before that, we didn't have TV at all. In fact, we didn't even have moving pictures. I want to show you this. Moving pictures only existed in somebody else's mind. This is what we had originally. This is I don't know if you can see through that. That's a slide. Remember when we used to watch, and this is our vacation? Oh, no. This is actually on glass. This was made in Ohio in the 1800s. And this was the projector. And it had to be made on wood like this, and all hand-colored. And you'd put a big flame in here, and then you would say, and look at this picture. Oh, my gosh. That's the way it was. And then one man had an idea. His name was Thomas Edison. He knew he was onto something big. He's the guy who invented this, but it didn't look like this originally. This is the film projector, an old one. This guy went from this. This is actually for postcards. And what you would do is you'd open up the back, and you'd put a light source in the back, and then you'd slide a postcard in, and it would project out. He was talking about the first motion picture, and here's the first motion picture device. That doesn't even look like a motion picture camera or projector, but it is. You had to stand over it and look into it. Now, this is a rare book, part of my new library. This is Edison's invention of the kinetophonograph, the movie projector. And if you look at it, I mean, here is a panorama that you would put in kind of like those, what do you call those machines? This is actually the first movie studio. This book was printed to explain the idea of the motion picture. And what he says at the very end of the book, the last page, is he says, this is going to be incredible because no scene animated and extensive will eventually be seen within the reproductive power. So in other words, everything that happens to mankind is going to be able to be reproduced. Martial evolutions, naval exercises, processions, countless kindred exhibitions will be recorded for the leisurely gratification of those who are debarred from attendance or who desire to just recall them. The invalid, the isolated country recluse, the harassed businessman can indulge with needed recreation without undue expenditure, without fear of weather, without sacrifice of health or important engagements. Not only our own resources, but those of the entire world will be at our command. The advantages to students and historians will be immeasurable. Instead of the dry, and listen to this, misleading accounts tinged with the exaggeration of the chronicler's mind, our archives will be enriched by the vitalized pictures of great national scenes instinct with all the glowing personalities which characterize them. Thomas Edison. He knew we had the potential to get away from historians that were going to make history whatever they wanted it to be. Oh, we're going to be able to see history. That way people will know the truth, because you can't fake the moving picture. Boy, Edison was wrong on a few things, wasn't he? He knew it would be great. He should have thought he knew it could be great, but as with all things, it's what we make of it. He also didn't know that it wouldn't take very long before we couldn't trust our own eyes. How easy it would be to access any information, see pictures from anywhere in the world and access information. This device, of course, you know, is the iPad. And right now, and my son just did it last week, and he took the iPad, and I was asleep, and he's like me. He doesn't sleep very much, and he's 7 years old, and he snuck into my bedside, and at night he took it, and he went into his bedroom. He doesn't need a wire to connect with anything. Suddenly, he's transported into another world, his mind being flooded with information. Now, that wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing, except there's no limit. And it's also, I mean, what do you think he's most likely to stumble across? Something wholesome? Edison saw this and this and this as a good invention, and it was. He was an amazing man. He never stopped inventing, thinking, trying to make things better, no matter how preposterous the idea seemed. For example, he actually tried to make concrete furniture as beds and chairs, even concrete pianos. Needless to say, the concrete piano didn't really... Neither did his mechanical cigar. But I don't even know what a mechanical cigar is, but that didn't stop him. He said one time, "I haven't failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that it doesn't work." And then he'd go back to work and create some more. Sometimes he got it right. He got it right this time. This is the machine that they first recorded the human voice on. This is the first time somebody could hear their own voice played back. The first words in human histories ever to be recorded were recorded on this machine. And Edison would stand here and he'd speak into this as if it was a microphone. This is what's called a wax cylinder, and it fits on here. You open it up, you put it on. It's like a record that fits on. The grooves are here, and then it spins and you play it. This is the actual first words ever recorded. Thomas Edison, listen to this.
Mary had a little lamb, its fleece was white as snow, and everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go. That's
what he said he recorded the first time in 1927. Here is what it sounds like when they said, "Hey, we'll make it for entertainment, we'll make music." Listen, this is music. Now, because the way you would record this, there wasn't a sound mixer, you would have to actually put these machines on the floor all around the singers of the band. So no two wax cylinder ever sounded the same. Even the same recording session or the same record, it would just depend where the horn was. Then you'd play it back. Technology sure has progressed, hasn't it? Now I can download a song wirelessly and it automatically can sync to all my other devices no matter where I am. Miracle of technology. And the iPad, a miracle of technology. But what are we doing with it? As culture has gone forward, technology has progressed, but culture has regressed exponentially, both of them. Exponentially better, culture exponentially worse. Future generations will take our wax cylinders and say, "Listen to this. What does it say about our culture?" Except it's not going to be a wax cylinder with Thomas Edison's face on it. This is our culture. What is it that we're saying about? What is it? They have all of this talent, and what do they choose to produce with that talent and that amazing technology that they had? Let's look at the Billboard 100. Most popular songs in the world. Here's the first one. I'm not kidding you. You're going to think these are made up. These are actual songs on the Billboard 100 now. How about F You? If you don't like that one, how about this one? Hell yeah, effing right. If you don't like that one, how about this one on the Billboard 100? S&M. If you don't like that one, you always have that one. You gotta be kidding me. if Edison were alive to see this invention, how long would he study how this works? And then he'd see what we were doing with it, and he would probably go back to working on the concrete piano. Is this who we are? This? No. But it is who we are allowing ourselves to become.